show. You were so cute, and every time I saw you, you made me smile, and then you were gone.
Yeah, that's a long story, but thank you for that. I appreciate the compliment very much. There were multiple reasons. I, I probably uppermost in my mind was, when I set out to do acting, I wasn't even particularly looking necessarily to do comedy. I was really more interested probably in drama. The first few parts that I got when I got to LA were dramatic roles, and that's kind of where my focus was and my real desire. But I knew, yeah, I felt I could do comedy if the material was good. And then when this it came along, I did this. I did 7 seasons, and I knew that I was getting, back then, if you were on a TV show, it was very difficult to go from television to film, and I wanted to do it all. And not like today. Today, there's almost like a bridge between the mediums. If you're doing people who are doing movies, now all of a sudden you see them doing TV shows, and people who are doing TV shows are doing movies, but it wasn't like that back then. It was almost impossible. And I knew I was getting more and more associated with this role and this very specific role and style. And so that was, I was feeling worried about that, of being typecast. And then also, honestly, I felt that material wasn't up to the level that those first 4 or 5 years the show was growing and creatively being vibrant and moving. And then I felt it sort of stagnated and kind of plateaued and was maybe even going downhill. So that was another reason. And I was about 27, and I just felt 7 years I was doing the same character, and I wanted to stretch out and move on, and the truth is, and I didn't talk about this a lot back then, but this is an interesting thing. And Alice, I'm glad you brought it up. I was now being offered a very substantial raise to come back because my contract was up. And so they now wanted me to come stay, and they offered me by far the biggest raise I had been offered. And I said to my agents, here's what I want to do. Tell them I don't even want the raise. I'll do the show. I'll come back for the same money without the raise, but give me an opportunity to do some other things. So ABC guarantee me a TV movie of the week, or Paramount Studios, where we were shooting it, give me a supporting role in a film, and then I will come back and do the show for the same money without and keep the raise. And they wouldn't agree to do that.
Wow.
So that kind of made up my mind,
I see. Well, I'm
But
sorry. What did you do after that?
well, it was a bit of I was doing theater. I wanted to do theater and film, and it was very tough, as I mentioned. I went 6 months without even being able to audition for a movie because of being so associated with the role. So it was tough, but I did a lot of theater. Then I slowly said to my agent, so because I told him I didn't even want to do television for a while. I wanted a break from it. But then I said, okay, I'll. After a while, I was hitting a wall for film, so I started doing TV again and doing a lot of guest spots on various shows, and then just kept doing that, and then got some films, but it was still tough until later on, where I started getting more work in films and independent movies, as opposed to studio films. And that's where I really enjoyed doing independent films a lot. And then, eventually I did things like I had a recurring role on Glee and did a lot of other shows and theater. And then I started directing, and I've directed 3 independent films now. So, managed to juggle some different things.
Well, good to see you, and thank you for sharing.
Thanks for calling in, Alice.